And hello everybody! Today, we're going to play a campaign of Kerbal Space Program. Why? Because, it's available. It's version 0.25. I don't know if this is still alpha technically. I know they were planning on going to beta very soon, but this game's been around for a very long time. You might remember it being more of a sandboxy, just dick around with spacecraft stuff, and that's still in here. When you start a game, you can actually go do... I think you could start a new yeah, sandbox mode. There's a science mode too, where you must just gather science. But I want to do a full-on career. We are going to do it on the easiest difficulty because it's not very balanced yet. And also, I'm not entirely sure how it works. I've never done one before, and I decided to just chronicle my adventure doing a Kerbal Space Program like career. I don't know how long it's going to go for because, once again, I don't know. What does hard do? Hard reduces your rewards and increases penalties. And then allow reverting flights. We want that so we can experiment without completely... Ooh. Easy... Oh, I see. So if we crash... Alright, so indestructible facilities I can only assume is if we crash our spacecraft into our own buildings, we can destroy our own buildings. Which is pretty rad. We'll leave that on. That's interesting. I kind of want rewards higher because the way that it works is that you need to gain science by doing certain things, and it's really hard to gain science right now. At least it's really hard for me to gain science right now. I'm not entirely sure. So I want to get rid of stock vessels anyway because it's very annoying. And we don't want any starting science or reputation. I guess that's good. That's fine. So... And we're going to name it... I'm going to be... Kazvon Space Program. Do we want a flag? I think we could do a custom flag if we really wanted to, but I think the regular Kerbin one's fine. I don't want to grab the NASA one because that'll I don't want to sully the name of NASA. So let's start. And in the very beginning, we don't really have a whole lot to go on. We don't have a whole lot to work with. We just have very basic things. So here are all the buildings we have now. Back in the day, you just basically had your rocket building center, and then I believe I think it's astronaut complex. I think they added very soon, and they added the tracking station, so now you can have multiple flights active at once. And then they added the spaceplane hangar, and now we have the R&D department. We have the administration building. We have a mission control center, and we have a launch pad where we can actually go and mess with things if we want to. Like if we have saved rockets and stuff, it'll all be saved in that little area. Let's just look around a little bit. I haven't really played with this a whole lot. Alright, the administration center, we can actually set up campaigns, because we have to gain reputation to be able to unlock certain things. This is our monies. That's the money symbol that they use. I don't know what they're called. They're probably called Kerbins, if I had to guess. We're at 250,000 Kerbins. I don't think we have any reputation or any science. And we can spend our money to outsource research and development. And then we get research for just straight up cash, but we don't want to do that because it's expensive. And then we can do an appreciation campaign to increase our reputation, because we need reputation to do some other things. And we'll look at that. We'll look at that after we start launching rockets. What's over here? This is where we can hire new astronauts. I'm not entirely sure what courage and stupidity have to do with anything. Maybe it's just to be silly. I'm not entirely sure. But we have the classic Jeb, Bill, and Bob to start with, and I'm not really planning on them ever dying. If I can help it. So they'll probably be dead pretty soon, if I had to guess. Then we have this mission control center where we have these missions that we can do. Let's see, launch a new vessel. And that'll reward us with some monies and some science once we complete it. We just have to launch a vessel, so I guess we accept this one. So let's accept that. Set an altitude record of 5,000 meters. Let's grab that. That's actually not that hard either. Escaping the atmosphere and orbiting Kerbin is going to be a lot harder with the stuff that they give us in the beginning. So right now we have these two active, and these are ones we have not done yet. Okay, all right. I think I'm getting the hang of this. Actually, building the spacecraft is something I've done before, but not with the resources they've only limited me to before. So let's see. All we have right now is a basic command one, or a command Mark 1 pod. Very basic propulsion, fuel tank, liquid fuel engine. If you know from playing the sandbox mode, there are actually hundreds of things now. Several hundred different things you can use now. I can't use a parachute, or can I? Oh, do we need a command pod? Okay, let's just get a command pod in there. and get some fuel. I don't think we actually have any of the detaching thingies, so we have to, this actually has to launch all in one piece. So let's get 2 fuel in there. I don't know if we need, just go whole hog, just go 3. 3, get a rocket engine on there. We don't have any fins yet. We don't have any other kind of things yet. There's our parachute that we need to survive this. Communicotron, that's a antenna. We'll put an antenna on it. We can put it anywhere because we're not actually going to be scuttling any of this. We have to land this whole thing. And I think that's all we have. Do we have center of mass? That's in the middle. Center of thrust. Yeah, that's to be expected. Center of lift. This isn't a space plane. There are space planes in this. They added them. They actually added a whole bunch of space plane stuff. I might do a separate thing on that, but I'm not good at it yet, so I don't know why I would do that. There's plenty of videos on that. I think that's all we can do. This will cost us, I believe, 3,447 Kerbals. I don't know what they're called, man. Bucks, space bucks. We'll use space bucks. ISK. We'll use ISK. Yeah, let's launch this thing. Why not? Let's make sure we name it. It's bad luck not to name your spacecraft, so let's call us test. Pod of Death Mark 1. That's not cursing us or anything. All right, let's go. For those unfamiliar, I'll try and like explain some of the controls, but it's pretty self-explanatory in the beginning because there's not a whole lot of stuff to do. When you're actually flying, you can gain science by right-clicking and getting a crew report once you're in space. Right now, we can get the crew's assessment of the situation just sitting on the launch pad, and that'll give us 3 science. But I believe we get more if we actually fly. So we're gonna reset the experiment because that's how all the experiments work. Because you can have like mobile labs and stuff. But if we hit T, it'll turn on our SAS, which is our stabilization. If you hit R, it turns on your RCS, which we actually don't have, but that's like little rockets that work in space, and that'll allow us to actually maneuver our spacecraft in space without having to use our gyros. But anyway, let's do a countdown. Oh, we gotta turn the throttle up. Forgot that. Turn the throttle up to full, and 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so that's another thing. When you're making a spacecraft, you have to stage and make sure your parachute does not go off at the same time as your rockets. We can turn off. Oh! Jebediah's alive. Okay. Okay. Fantastic. We're going to recover the vessel. We can, because we have our difficulty set the way it is, we can hit escape and revert the flight and pretend it never happened. We're not going to do that for this. We successfully flew the spacecraft, and we landed. So we actually gained 10 science, because recovery of a vessel that survived a flight, that was a pretty good flight, I think. That was actually pretty fantastic. Pod of Death Mark 1 lived up to its name because I neglected to set the staging correctly. We got some monies for recovered parts, and our crew is fine. Oh, he gained reputation. All right. Excellent. Let's go back here. And now we have more things available to us. We need to set our altitude record still. We did launch a new vessel, so we got all of our rewards for that already, which is pretty fantastic. Test Mark 16 parachute? Is that what we have? I think that's what we're using, so we'll accept that. And test RT-10 solid fuel booster splashed down. I don't know what that means, so we're not going to do that yet. I think that's enough for now. We just need to fly pretty high and use that parachute, I guess. That's all we have to do. So I think our Pod of Death Mark 1 served us pretty well so far. I don't think I have to change anything yet, because I actually don't know how far it can fly. Yeah, we are using the Mark 16, so we have to change our staging. We just hit plus, put our rockets in the first stage, and our parachute in the second stage. And let's try this again. This is still going to be Mark 1. It was just a user error. It wasn't a design problem, because I design perfect spacecraft every time. So let's go. SAS on, throttle up, and 3, 2, 1, go. Excellent. This is much better than last time. Much better. How's our fuel doing? If you just hover over these, you get information about certain things. We have our liquid fuel and our oxidizer going. See how high we can get. If we get to 5,000 feet, it's successful already. We're about halfway down the fuel. I do want to get over the water before this ends. So let's start tilting a little bit. Get to our 90 degrees. And we can actually go to the map and see how we're doing. But since we're such a low flight, I don't actually want to do that too much. Let's just get away from our buildings so we don't destroy our buildings. I did leave that setting on. I have to be mindful of that. I'm actually really lucky that that first flight did not just completely wreck our buildings, huh? Alright, this is when we'd stage and get rid of our other pieces and launch maybe another rocket and a 2-stage rocket, but right now all we have is a parachute. We can actually look and see how far we're going to go. Our apoapsis is going to be around 25,000 feet, and then from there, we just hang out. So we got time to go, man. We're just kind of chilling. Jeb's having a great time. I can actually make him leave the spacecraft, except we're not in outer space, so he'd just go flying, and I don't want to murder my Kerbals yet. We're not far enough to start doing that. We'll lose plenty of Kerbals on moon missions. Don't worry about it. I've never actually landed on the moon, ever. But that's one of our... Ooh, what's that? Wish I could zoom in. That looks like something. Can I... I can get a crew report. Let's just report. Yeah, cruise assessment of the situation. Let's... We can transmit it for 100%. Do that. Starting the transmission. Uploading the data. And there we go. We get 7 more science on our report from the upper atmosphere, which is actually very useful because you can get a report. I know you can do science experiments from like the launch pad, on the way up to upper atmosphere, in upper atmosphere, and then in space. But once you get that and lock it in, you can't do it again, which is really weird. You can transmit data, but you lose a large percentage of the information for some reason. I don't understand why that is a thing, but so when you're doing science, the early science stuff, what I've experienced is you got to do like a bunch of experiments at once. So we'll get to that when we can. So here we're plummeting to Earth. We're gonna pop our parachute probably pretty soon here. We're gonna put our tail towards the ground. We don't have any fuel. We can't retro burn or anything to level us out, but we should be fine. I don't think we're gonna burn. Are we gonna burn up a little bit? No, I think we're just in the upper atmosphere. We're not actually re-entering the atmosphere, so we should be fine. We're gonna pop our parachute here, and we're actually just probably speed up time because there's not a whole lot going on. So let's just go really quick. You're less likely to explode when you actually have no fuel in. But we may destroy parts of the spacecraft. But we do get recovery bonuses. Maybe I should have thrown a solid booster on here just to get that other quest or whatever done. That probably would have been smart. But, I wasn't thinking. Splash down. Go, Jeb, go. You've got this. Hold your breath. Alright. That worked out rather well. Let's recover the bezel and see what we got. We got 1.7 science. Did we not reach 5,000 feet? Oh no, I think we did. Huh. Let's check our place here. So, archives. Yes, we reached 5,000 feet. It's really weird how it doesn't give you the feedback that you kind of need to know if you actually succeeded in one of these. But I think at any time I can go back to here and check while I'm in flight, so that's not too bad. Did I not accept this? I thought I accepted it. Yeah, I did. Test the Mark 16 parachute. So what do I have to do? Oh, I have to get up to 17.9 thousand? I think I have to launch the parachute a lot higher for it to work. That's fine. We're using this parachute for a long time, so I'm not too worried about that. Let's test a solid fuel booster next. We do want to get higher, and then we can use the stacked decoupler, but we have to unlock that first. So let's actually go back and unlock some stuff. So if we go to the R&D department, you'll see this is the skill tree, the web, the unlocking tree. There's not a whole lot here right now. We only have one thing to do, and that is basic rocketry, which is something we probably should have had before we even began, but we couldn't. We had to start without any of that stuff. So right now we can get another fuel tank, a bigger fuel tank, the first of the several science experiments that you can do in space, and finally a stacked decoupler, which allows us to do several stages of our rocketry. So let's unlock all that stuff. And now it unlocks all these other areas of research to do, which is basically more rockets, more aerodynamics. This is actually really good. The stacked decoupler, or this radial decoupler, is awesome for boosters. which actually I want to get that. Maybe I should just get that right away. But we can get, yeah. But those are solid fuel. See, we need the solid fuel boosters, but we also need the decouplers, and there's in separate things, which is kind of weird. We don't need the radial parachute. We don't need any of this stuff yet. This is just a better parachute and stuff like that. We don't really need a better parachute because we have experiments to do with our current one. So let's get basic rocketry, or stability rather. Let's get that too. And then we have all these more things. And this one actually allows us to do unmanned missions, which is pretty cool. And this one allows us to have more decouplers, a big, like one of those big stands that you launch rockets from, like when they put them up on basically stilts before they launch them. And then strut connectors are really good for stability. And the tricoupler, we can have 3 rockets all attached together, which you can do on your own, but this actually makes it more neat looking. But that requires a way more science. The higher you go, the more and more science you need. So you need to get things that'll encourage more science. So, where is that goo thing? Did we get goo? Yeah, we got the mystery goo containment. Excellent. So, next time we're going to make an R&D flying laboratory is basically our next thing. It's not going to actually fly very long or very high. It's basically just going to get up there and allow us to do a couple of experiments, and then we'll try and recover it. So that's what we're going to do next time. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.